Akadaka.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the GTHub podcast. We have a very busy show for you today, and joining me for this recap of various things is once again Rob.
Hi.
And our resident pigeon.
Hello there.
Tweet.
Yes, the birds are tweeting, and so can you. And lots of things to get through today because we have the WEC from Silverstone, which Rob was attending, which he may or may not remember. We'll see in a bit. We had the IMSA from VIR. Well, I say the IMSA, it's more like the IMSA GT Festival from VIR. And, of course, IndyCar from Pocono, and the various news items resulting from that. And, of course, a rundown of the upcoming Suzuka 10 hours this weekend. So, without further ado, where should we go? Let's go to WEC while it's fresh on Rob's mind.
Oh, yes.
He was totally paying attention.
That's what I said. Let's go to it while he remembers.
Yes, and while I actually make sure I have the correct tab up. Yeah, it was actually a really busy weekend in terms of crowd numbers. I think it was like 10,000 more people in terms of weekend attendance than last year. I mean, I don't know how much this is to do with the fact that, okay, we're now having the Silverstone round in August and school holidays and that, but it was noticeably, it felt noticeably busier this year to the point that, because I was actually a bit late getting to the circuit, I only got there about half an hour before the race start.
What, you being late to something? What a shocker!
I am so surprised.
We actually ended up parking in the one of the auxiliary car parks.
So you parked in a field about 5 miles away then?
No, we parked in a field that meant we were able to make actually a very, very tidy getaway from the circuit.
Okay then.
But yeah, it was a pretty good race. It was at Silverstone. The race was won initially by
yes, very much initially there.
Yes, very much initially by the number 8 Toyota Gazoo Racing Toyota TS050 hybrid of Sebastian Buemi, Kazuki Nakajima, and the Spanish bloke. From the
would that be one Mr. Fred Alonso?
Yes, it would be one Mr. Fred Alonso. From the number 7 entry of Mike Conway, Kamui Kobayashi, and Jose Maria Lopez.
The garbage Toyota.
Yes. The birthday Toyota, actually, because it was Mike Conway's birthday on Sunday.
Oh, happy birthday, but still, garbage
happy
Toyota.
Birthday. You're disqualified.
Yes.
Such a lovely gift. Happy birthday. Now get out.
Happy birthday. You're disqualified. That's your birthday present from us. Yeah, the Toyotas were disqualified for, I believe it was too much wear on the skid block.
Well, you
deflection.
say that. Interestingly, it was deflection on the skid block. But
right.
however, both of the Toyotas had different amounts of deflection.
Right.
Which, take as you will, that Toyota blamed on the curbs at Silverstone. That's
Of course they would.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you if you were in their position?
Yeah.
But hey, that wasn't our fault. Not us.
Yes, and the net result of that meant that Rebellion Racing claims their first ever WEC victory.
Well, hang on, I was going to tell you what was wrong with the Toyotas.
Sorry.
The number 8 Toyota had a skid block deflection 9 millimeters under the specified 2,500 Newton load on both sides of the skid block, meaning it was on the front side of the skid block on the number 8, and the number 7 had 6 millimeters of deflection on the right-hand side and 8 millimeters on the left-hand side. So, yeah, the number 7 just had to go and be different from the number 8. So, yeah.
Yes.
That's what happens when you don't have Alonso in your car, you see.
Yes, doesn't make it even.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no. But yeah, they both had different deflection loads, and that threw them out of the race. And also, the second place GTE Pro Porsche was DQ'd as well.
Yes, Ricard Leitz and Gianmaria Bruni getting a podium and then very much not getting it. But their teammates did get, Michael Christensen and Kevin Estra did get a podium as a result, which is nice.
Well, net gain, net loss, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the number 3 Rebellion R13 of Matthias Besch, Thomas Laurent, and Gustavo Menezes eventually ended up winning the race about 6 and a bit hours after they came third. It means that Laurent is now the youngest overall winner in WEC history, and annoyingly, he's a year younger than I am. God damn it. And
Jesus.
yes, indeed. And Menezes actually becomes the first American driver to win overall in the World Endurance Championship.
Forza's happy now.
Yes.
I'm very happy, buddy.
Yes. Second place was the number 1 Rebellion of Neil Yarni and Andre Lotterer. And the reason why they drove as a pairing is because Bruno Senna suffered a very, very large accident on Friday. And am I right?
Seemingly a theme this season in WC, really?
Yes. Yeah. And I believe it was was it fractured or broken foot?
Fractured ankle, I believe.
Ah, right. Yeah, and that put him out for the weekend, but the team rebuilt the car overnight, and Yarni and Lotterer were absolutely well and truly on the pace they were.
Sorry, Ron.
As I'd say, the third place car was the number 17 SMP Racing BR Engineering BR1-AER for Stefan Sarazan and young Mr. Igor Rudzev. And in fourth place, and the last of the LMP1 cars to actually see the finish, was the number 10 from Dragon Speed of Henrik Hedman, Ben Hansley, and Renga van der Zande in another BR Engineering BR1, but this time with the Gibson twin turbo. So the Gibson naturally aspirated V8.
I was going to say that's the wrong engine, Rob.
Yes. Although they had car issues and finished 28 laps behind the winning Rebellion. Not classified.
If I'm correct, though, aren't the results provisional? Because are Toyota not appealing it? Ah, okay.
That was official about, I think that was confirmed about 5 hours or so ago.
Right, okay. No wonder I missed it then. Would have been when I was asleep.
Yes, so these are actually official. Collis were not classified after only completing 59 laps, although I think it was Rene Binder who binned it.
Ha.
Binder. Ha ha. Binder. Binder. Ha ha ha. Ha ha. Ha.
Hashtag original.
Yes. Not the first time we've also been familiar with Rene Binder's antics of binning things. Nor will it probably be the last.
No.
Considering he'll probably be in IMSA to thrill us with his horrible driving. I mean, wonderful driving.
Oh, God help us.
I mean, sort of driving.
Attempting.
Well, attempted driving.
Yes. And the other non-classification was the number 11 SMP Racing of Jenson Button, Vitaly Petrov, and Mikhail Ocean.
No. Benson Jutton.
Benson Jutton. Oh, yes, of course it is Benson Jutton. No, doesn't that only apply if he's racing in Super GT, though?
No, he is forever Benson Jutton.
Okay, he is now officially Benson Jutton. Okay, I get it now.
He has legally changed his name.
Oh, is he changed it by deed poll now?
And if he hasn't actually done it, then we've done it for him.
Okay, cool. Nice to know. Yeah, that happened. Engine blew very early on with Lotion behind the wheel. Right, where were we? Oh yeah, LMP2 was 1-2 for Jackie Chan DC Racing. It was the 38.
Another boring result there in the race.
Yes, it was the 38 of Hopintung, Gabby Aubrey, and Stefan Riquelme, winning by
Mighty 38.
winning by just under 2 seconds rather from the number 37 of Jasmine Jafar, Wayron Tan, and Nabil Jeffrey.
The all Malaysian lineup there.
Yep. Third place was the number 36 Signatech Alpine entry for the possible Le Mans winners of Nico Lapierre, Andre Negrão, and Pierre Thirier.
This puts them in the point lead, doesn't it? Or no?
I'm not sure, but what I do know is that the win for Rebellion means that Messrs. Besh, Laurent, and Menezes are actually only 2 points off Fernando Alonso, Kazuki Nakajima, and Sebastian Buemi, I believe.
Well, don't get too used to that. They'll be behind again.
Yeah.
Dragon Speed were fourth in the 31 for Roberto Gonzalez, Pastor Maldonado, and Ant Davidson. And Racing Team Netherlands were fifth. Labra competitions all AM driver lineup came sixth, just ahead of the TDS Racing entry, which finished 3 laps behind Labra. In GT Pro, it was a win for the 51 AF Corsa Ferrari of Alessandro Pierguidi and James Collado from the Ford Chip Ganassi Team UK Ford GT of Andy Priot and Harry Tinknell with the, well, we've already mentioned third place. That was Michael Christensen and Kevin Esther. Fourth was the number 97 Aston Martin of Alex Lynn and Maxime Martin with the number 81 BMW Team M-Tech BMW M8 GTE in fifth, driven by Martin Tomczyk and Nicky Katzberg. And having had a closer look at the M8 GTE in the fan zone, I can say it was a slightly smaller boy than what I thought it was.
No, still a very big boy.
Still a big boy?
Still a very thick boy.
It's a bit lower than what I thought it would be in terms of height.
Well, that's most GT cars I think you'll find.
Yes, I was having quite a close look at the front end of the Aston Martin, actually, in scrutineering, and that was very low indeed. Sixth place was the 66 Ford of Stefan Mucker and Ollie Pla. Seventh was the 71 Ferrari of Davide Rigon and Sam Bird. And eighth was the number 95 Aston of Marco Sorensen and Nicky Thiem. We mentioned that Leitz and Bruni were disqualified. And not classified were Augusto Farfus and Antonio Felix da Costa for BMW with what am I right in thinking was suspension failure?
You sound certain. Let's go with that answer. Because I don't know.
Okay, I don't know either, to be honest. Given that it was actually, given that I wasn't actually at that part of the circuit. GTM, it was
I defer to you because you were there, so.
Well, that's dangerous.
You're asking Rob to pay attention. This is.
I mean, it's a hard. I know it's a very strange thing to ask, but if someone goes to an event, the last thing you at least expect a little bit of attention to be paid to what's actually happening.
Dempsey Proton Racing Porsche of Christian Reed, Julian Andlauer, and Matt Campbell. TF Sport came second with their old spec Aston Martin Vantage for Sally Yoluk, Johnny Adam, and Charlie Eastwood, with Jörg Bergmeister, Patrick Lindsay, and Adigo Perfetti rounding out the podium in the Team Project 1 Porsche. Shall I do the others in GTM?
No, you've done enough already.
Okay, that's nice to know.
It's been a good weekend for the Project 1 guys because they got pole that weekend and finished on the podium in there. So they're finding speed. But then again, with your Bergmeister at the wheel, you would expect them to have speed.
I mean, Patrick Lindsay's not exactly slow either, and he's still getting used to the car. I think that GTLM spec car is quite a bit different to drive compared to the GTD spec version, which he's used to.
Yes. Also on Patrick Lindsay news, they will be running at Laguna Seca. However, it won't be him and your Bergmeister in the car because schedule conflicts. Or no, was it Laguna? Oh no, it's Petite. They have scheduled on.
Yeah,
I think they're in for Laguna. I have to check
Yeah,
again.
'cause
That's the car will
Petite
be there.
clashes with is it Fuji?
Sounds about right. Yeah, Fuji's the next round, so yes.
Because they're to avoid Alonso for some reason.
Well, I mean, surely they can just get rid of the date now. I mean, he's not going for a championship, so yeah. Let's just go back to a sensible date. Oh wait, no, we can't do that.
No, we can't do that because that's common sense, and this is motorsport. But
It's also too late, yeah. But yes, that was the WC from Silverstone.
Shall I do the top 3 in the European Le Mans series since I have
No, we're not talking about the LMS. You may do the overall podium, but that is it.
Okay, it was win for the number 26 G-Drive Racing Orica of Roman Rusnov, Andrea Pizzatola and Jean-Eric Verne, from the number 21 Dragon Speed Orica of Henrik Hedman, Ben Hanley and Nico Lapierre. And then in third place was the EDEX Sport Orica of Paul Lafargue, Paul-Luc Chatin and Memo Rojas.
Good. The Orica show in the LMS rolls on unabated. Wonderful.
Yes, the highest Ligier was 5th and the highest Delara was 7th. No, 6th and 8th, rather. Because I cannot into math.
You cannot math? Well, that's true. Both of us can't math compared to Pigeon. He's the resident genius, so...
Yes.
That's why Rob's doing a journalism degree.
Yes. Yes, now where did I put my abacus? Nah, just kidding.
In the bin, hopefully.
Well, I mean, I knew you were hopelessly old-fashioned, but, yeah.
Me?
Oh, wait, hang on. No, I'm confusing you with Archer. Never mind.
But I'm not a communist, though.
I'm moving swiftly on as you make all the jokes. Let's stick with sports car racing and move into the IMSA race weekend from VIR. In which Rob will have had no idea, because I assume he's seen nothing of it.
That is indeed correct. I have seen absolutely nothing of it.
So you get to sit here silently while me and Pigeon discuss it.
Excellent. Actually, in fairness, I think I did see about 5 minutes in the car on the way home from Silverstone before my signal dropped out.
You saw the highlights then. Well done.
No, not the highlights. It was 5 minutes live.
Oh, well, that's even worse then.
I know.
Anyway, moving past Rob's connection issues there. In his travails of traveling, yeah. We shall go swiftly into the VIR weekend, which was plethora of GTs because there were no prototypes on site, which is probably for the better, really, because it was a bit messy as is. So,
yeah.
Yes. Particularly on the start, which, well, not even the start, the opening laps, should I say, where the Porsches and the Corvettes just decided to run into each other.
So just
for
Porsches
some
being
reason.
Porsches then.
Well, apparently the Porsches just being Porsches, yeah. So, I think that was the 911 that was running into people, or was it the 912?
I mean, they're still pimped up Volkswagen Beetles, though, aren't they?
Just wait till Sith hears about this.
Get in there. Cannot wait.
Yeah, but GTLM was kind of foregone conclusion, really, because the Fords were leading at the front. I think it was a 67 that was leading, if I'm correct.
Yes. Yeah, 67 had the pole.
Before it ran into issues with its clutch, I think it was. I seem to remember the Fox broadcast mentioning it was a clutch issue that took him out. but that had issues, and they were the point leader, so they started on pole. And they led quite early until the BMWs found pace and took over the lead after pit stops, but not before running into the leading GTD Lexus at the time, which was the number 15 of David Harman Hansen.
Yeah,
Who
so
then
I did
proceeded
see.
to spin through the grass and then do the worst parking job imaginable and almost take out the number 93 Acura.
I did see Mr. Hanneman Hansen's rant on Twitter after the race, in fairness.
Well, I mean, if you saw the incident, it's kind of speaks for itself. Although the BMW wasn't really at fault there. He was kind of squeezed a bit there going into the corner, so yeah, it was more of a freak deal.
Yeah.
Mm.
Actually, and interesting enough, that was actually the BMW that ended up winning in the end. Because GTLM was a foregone conclusion thanks to the pit stops. The 25 had a 50-second lead over the Corvettes heading into, or the number 3 Corvette rather, heading into the final stop. And it emerged with a second lead over the number 3 and held it to the end. So that marked the first win overall for the BMW M8 GTE in any series. And that was the number 25 of Alexander Sims and Connor Di Filippi, who took home the win. Second was the number 3 of Jan Magnussen and Antonio Garcia in their Corvette C7R. And rounding out the podium was the second BMW, that being the number 24 of Jesse Krohn and John Edwards. The 66 Ford of Joey Hen and Dirk Miller was 4th. Errol Bamber and Lawrence Fantho were 5th, and the number 912 Porsche. And the sole remaining Porsche after the 911 grenaded itself in spectacular fashion on lap 40. The 67, which was the point leader coming into the race, crawled around for a bit to claim points and finished 17th overall. In GTD, however, it was, well, pretty much was a race, really. It was all the excitement from start to finish, really, which was a battle between the Lexuses, the Porsches of Wright Motorsports, and the Acuras, and of course the whinging Ferrari of Cooper McNeil.
Yes.
That has a very high-pitched engine note from memory, similar to the old 458 GTLM car. Oh no, wait.
Oh no! You're not hearing
That's
the
just
engine
the driver.
note. You're just hearing. Yeah, there you go.
It's just the driver. Damn it.
You're just hearing Cooper McNeil whining.
What about the OP? Trying to
again, yeah. Even though he's riding a 2-week podium finish, but yeah. Apparently, you're not allowed to be OP Cooper McNeil without him complaining. So yeah, that's my main issue with him. Really, he's terrible attitude.
I mean, he's also not much of a good driver either. So.
Well, he's a decent AM driver, but he's not exactly quick. Which is the whole point, really.
Mm.
Anyway, getting back on point. There was a battle all the way throughout, and at the end, after pit stops had cycled through, we had a battle between the number 14 Lexus, the 58 Porsche with Patrick Long at the wheel, and of course Catherine Legg, who is chasing down the point lead in GTD. The point leaders in GTD were the number 48 Paul Miller Racing Lamborghini. And, well, Catherine Legg and I think at the time it was Snow, I think, who was at the wheel. Not quite sure. But they had a bit of coming together, which forced the number 48 to come into the pits to change a puncture and damage to the right front. So that put it behind. Also, with a bit of an incident, was the 44 Magnus Racing Audi, who went for a bit of a spin early on, battling for the lead. And Bill Alderlin and Robert Foley in the number 96 Turner Motorsport BMW were in contention, but fell back after pit stops.
So Bill Alderlin had no altercations with gravity this time?
No, he kept it clean.
That's good. That's what we like to hear. That's what we like to hear, mate.
Bill Alderlin was abiding by the laws of physics and gravity today. Or not today, but on Sunday, rather. Well, yes. I guess today as well. I don't know what he's doing today, so I'm assuming he's being normal.
Yes, so are we.
Are we, though? Yeah. We had the overall win go to the BMW, as I mentioned, and the GTD battle came down to the very last second between the number 14 of Dominic Baumann and Colin Marcelli, who ended up finishing ahead of the number 58 Wright Motorsports Porsche of Dominic Baumann. Patrick Long and Christina Nielsen, sorry. Which was barely a second ahead of him. And the number 86 of Catherine Legg and Mario Farnbacher was third on the podium and also made up ground on the point leader. However, not much, because it's still a bit of a stretch for her to get the point lead in GTD. And speaking of the points, in GTLM, thanks to the 67 having issues, we have new point leaders in the form of Antonio Garcia and Jan Magnussen over Richard Westbrook and Ryan Briscoe, and Derek Miller and Joey Hand are third in the other Ford. This gives Corvette Racing a team title lead over the Ford Ganassi Racing cars. And in the manufacturer standings, Ford still leads, but Chevrolet has closed ground. GTD, it is still Brian Sellers and Madison Snow on 275 points, with Catherine Legg on 262. So it's a bit closer than it was coming in. And Ben Keating and Jerome Bleakmolin are at 246 points. So they're still in with a shot.
And speaking of Brian Sellers, I'll take it you haven't heard his latest bit of news today.
Oh, has there been news concerning Brian Sellers?
Oh, there has been news concerning Mr. Brian Sellers, one of the fastest drivers to come out of the state of Ohio.
Right, okay.
So,
you're part of it.
Oh, yes, indeed. So, there's this Jaguar I-Pace E-Trophy racing series where they take the new electric Jaguar SUV and they're turning it into a racing car.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, he's been confirmed as one of the drivers for it.
Right.
And guess who his teammate is?
I'm going to assume this must be at the Rahal team with Catherine Legg.
Yes, it is.
Right, so this might be a bit interesting.
Yes, this is going to be very, very interesting. And if he is still on the same run of form as he is currently in IMSA at the moment, I think he's going. A lot of people who aren't quite as aware as we are of his abilities as a driver, well, put it this way, they damn well will be come the end of the season.
Right, okay.
I reckon he could be in with a shout, because it's a spec series.
Well, on the same token, Catherine Legg could be in with a shout as well. Also, keep in mind, she has electric car experience because she was in Formula E for a bit with Andretti.
Yes, that was...
Or no, not Andretti, Amlin.
The Amlin Aguri team, yeah. I think that was...
Amlin Aguri team, yeah.
That was back in season 1?
Season 1 or 2, yeah.
Yeah.
As Rob does a furious Google search there.
Yes, Yes, and unfortunately, I have a mechanical gaming keyboard, and it's got nice, loud, clicky switches, so everyone can hear it.
And your results?
Results? Yes, she did the first 2 rounds for the Amlin Aguri team in Season 1 before being replaced by Salvador Duran.
Ah, yes. The wonderful Salvador Duran. Oh, wait a minute.
Yes, those were Beijing and Putrajaya.
Right. 2 rounds that aren't there any longer.
No.
Okay.
And
Just like Catherine Megan Formula E.
Yes.
Moving past that. There was a bit of... Was there? No, not IMSA News. My brain has failed on me. Not IMSA News, IndyCar News. With concerning Fernando Alonso, that we'll mention a bit before going into IndyCar. That the saga of which engine manufacturer he's going to be running when he comes to IndyCar, if he comes to IndyCar, which is looking more likely when he comes to IndyCar, will be testing in Honda or with Honda engines come February.
Ooh.
Yes. However, he may be in Chevy engines or using Chevy engines if he's at Harding, which is an Andretti partnership. Who knows, really?
It's just a big mess.
It's a big mess, and it's very complicated, but I blame McLaren.
I blame Zach Brown, so there we go.
Yeah. At least we're not blaming Honda, unlike those two.
No. And can I get a couple of other bits of a bit of F1 Drive news that broke the other day in quick?
I didn't say F1 news, but go on.
Pierre Gasly will be Daniel Ricciardo's replacement at Red Bull Racing.
So a pointless replacement.
I am so surprised. Never saw that coming.
I never saw that coming.
Never.
Even though Carlos Sainz Jr. should have been the replacement at Red Bull Racing if their driver development program meant a damn.
Yes, I was going to say,
like
Pigeon. So, do you have your international not surprised face on?
I do.
Do pigeons come with international not surprised faces?
No, you have to get them installed separately.
Oh, is that kind of like when you update a certain piece of software on a computer, you have to get that done separately?
Yeah.
I see.
It's like 60 quid. It's not that much, but...
good value for money then.
Yeah.
Right, so Pierre Gasly has moved to Red Bull, and
which
Carlos Sainz Jr. has moved to McLaren?
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so pointless transaction there then.
So it opens up Norris possibly moving to Toro Rosso.
Not happening.
Or Van Dorn going to Toro Rosso instead.
Also not happening.
Or Dan Ticktum, which is never going to happen.
The McLaren drivers go to the Toro Rosso program. The Red Bull driver development program is pointless.
But then again, it is going to be an upgrade for them in terms of cars.
Yeah, but then it's also pointless because the whole point of Toro Rosso is to be a junior team to Red Bull and house their junior drivers. But if they just take drivers from other teams, what is the point of them?
Because they don't have any choice, because I don't think either Nire Fukuzumi or Dan Ticktum have enough super license points.
Nope.
They don't have any other drivers in the Red Bull program in GP2, or F2 or GP3 or Formula 3 or whatever.
Ticktum's in FIA Formula 3 and has done a bit of Super Formula. In fact, actually, Helmut Marko was at the Super Formula round this weekend, Motegi.
Right, okay, so instead of keeping Gasly at Toro Rosso to develop the Honda engine further alongside the Red Bulls, he's being moved to Red Bull.
To develop it with Max Verstappen.
Yes, what could possibly go wrong there?
I expect many fireworks.
I expect many crashes into teammates, possibly at the fault of Verstappen. But yeah,
I expect them to happen if they actually get as far as that during the race. But that's just me.
If they actually make it to turn 1.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Yeah. But he's been moved on to the main team, which I mean, good for him. But realistically, if you were just using your own driver development scheme sensibly, like someone else would, i.e. Mercedes or Ferrari, Carlos Sainz Jr. would be in the main team. I know there was things going on with him when he was Max's teammate in Toro Rosso, but on merit, he should be in the main team instead of being farmed out to a lesser team, because that's what McLaren is. They're a lesser team.
Not as much as Williams.
Well,
Williams
everyone's better than Williams. They're not even an F1 team at this point.
No,
They're barely a
Formula 2
GP2 team. I mean F2 team. Sorry.
I mean F3000 team.
But yeah, they've moved him. That's not true. There are very high quality USF 2000 teams.
They're a high quality Indy Lights teams as well. Hello, Huncos.
Well, in a 7-car Indy Lights grid, they would still be at the back.
I mean, half of the Indy Lights grid is Andretti, so.
This is true. However, they would still be at the back of the Indy Lights grid, and there's only 8 cars if they entered. Getting back to the point, though, but
what is the point?
No, I'm just making a point of the Red Bull development program. Carlos Sainz Jr. should have been in with Red Bull, which then would have moved someone else up into the other seat, because then Pierre Gasly would have been there still developing and possibly alongside a good teammate. But now you have the possibility of both seats being replaced at that team, which, by the way, isn't a good way to develop a new car for next season if you're replacing both drivers.
Not the first time they've done it.
Well, that's why they're pointless. But instead of just replacing one driver and keeping continuity at the team, they're going to end up replacing both drivers who have no F1 experience whatsoever, which is not a great move, because look what's happened with Williams, and they didn't have that bad of a car last season, and that hasn't gotten them anywhere, really. So I don't know. They should just keep Brendan Hartley on for another season, just so they can have some continuity, but they're not going to do that.
No.
Because that would make too much sense, really. And he actually hasn't gotten a fair shake at F1. I mean, it's only 1 year. If he comes back another season, he'll probably do quite well when he's the top teammate. But, yeah, that's not going to happen. So, yeah, we'll just see Toro Rosso go to the back of the grid alongside Williams, who's already there.
Oh, no, Toro Rosso will be coming home then, given the former name the team ran under. Minardi.
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh, love that team.
I thought you were going to say Arrows, but I think that's a different team.
No, Arrows was different. I mean, then again, there will never be an F1 team quite like Life.
You really just have to get that in at every opportunity, don't you?
They were simply the best.
At being the worst.
Exactly. There were occasions where they actually got all 12 cylinders working, believe it or not, dear listener.
Before he plunges down memory lane, I'm going to steer him back into reality.
Back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh,
no,
stop.
No, stop.
Pause.
Too bad that doesn't work on him. Yeah. We're going to go to IndyCar racing, which was at Pocono. Which Rob also probably did not see.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't watch the highlights that I posted. Okay.
No, I didn't. I genuinely didn't have time to watch the
you didn't
highlights
really miss
tonight.
much. So, yeah. It was a. I don't want to say it was a dull race. It was just. It was a classic Pocono race. How about that? Let's preface it that way.
It was refreshing at being able to see the leader actually pull away at Pocono for once.
For once, yes. And a classic IndyCar race was had at Pocono. I know some of you thought it wasn't that exciting, but seeing only the top 4 cars on the lead lap at the end of a race is a bit different.
It's what it used to be before 2012.
Yes, before 2012 and the chassis that was made parody. But somehow even more so than the original IndyCar chassis. But yeah, go figure. Anyway, it was pretty much a tale of, well, two safety cars, 2 yellows really. They don't have safety cars in IndyCar. There was basically the race start that was not a race start.
the race start that didn't happen.
Yes, the race start that wasn't to be. Which saw Will Power lead the field to the green, which, on a side note, with his pole, tied him with AJ Foyt on second in all-time poles.
Super tax.
Yep, only behind Mario Andretti.
Oh, I was going to say, is that behind Mario by any chance?
Yep, and he's still he's very much within distance of taking the all-time pole lead there.
And why do I get the impression that one of the first people to congratulate him on that would be Mario?
Because he's a good guy, that's why.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Will Power led a Team Penske front row to the green, and it wasn't to be because immediately upon throwing the green flag, Graham Rahal, I don't know what he was doing, but
such a mess. He just decided he didn't like Spencer Pigot being on track and decided to ram him into the wall. Which went,
very much
you don't get to race today.
Yeah, very much in the same style of him at Long Beach with Joseph Newgarden. Or no, Simone Pagenaud, rather.
Pagenaud, yeah.
Yeah. Graham Rahal and restarts, or initial race starts, didn't really agree. Gets a bit too antsy.
I think it's just him and cars with a number that start with 20.
Or 2, rather.
He just doesn't like them.
He doesn't like them. I don't know. Something happened in his past. He just doesn't like the number 20. Well, actually, ironically enough, 21 and 22, so yeah.
Yeah.
But he punted him into the wall and went for a spin, and the race was under caution almost immediately. That lasted for
6 laps, I think.
5 laps.
5 laps. Yeah.
Yes, 5 laps of caution. And upon the restart, Joseph Newgarden and Will Power were both passed by the very speedy Alexander Rossi.
Rossi!
Boy.
Pigeon's boy.
boy.
And pretty much this is where things get a bit
scary.
Dire and scary for quite some time. And still quite scary because he's not quite out of the woods yet.
No.
By being him, I mean Robert Wickens, because upon the restart, Robert Wickens and Ryan Hunter-Reay had it coming together and a very scary accident happening.
Yeah.
Which resulted in Robert Wickens flying into the catch fencing in turn 2. And the accident is out there if you want to see it. However, it's not the best viewing. He comes out of it okay, per se.
It's not fun to watch.
No, it's not fun to watch the second time or even 10 times over, like those of us.
Or the 20th time in slow motion.
No, it actually gets worse in slow motion because some of the details coming from cars behind the accident were a bit harrowing. particularly if you were Ryan Hunter Ray as a car comes flying over your head.
Smashing through your roll hoop.
Yeah.
Took the camera pod off, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the bottom of Wickens' chassis smashing the roll hoop for Ryan Hunter Ray's car. Yeah, it's a very interesting accident. That's I can't really blame anyone for it because that's not quite the appropriate thing to do, so much as it's just a racing incident. But
Yeah.
everyone involved is a very lucky boy because it was a very, very scary thing.
It does show how far the safety features in IndyCar have come. The fact that
Yes.
Wickens was able to survive that.
Yeah. The catch fencing doing its job there and keeping the car on track. And the Xylon intrusion panels keeping everything outside of where it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It ripped a massive hole in the catch fencing that caused a 2-hour red flag, which really didn't matter in the end because their solution to repairing things was...
It was questionable.
Should we say a bit questionable? Yeah.
It's like the old... I think, was it... To me, what it looked like to me on the photo I saw online was zip ties and chicken wire, I think.
Yeah, it was basically it was catch fencing doubled over itself with like poles affixing it to the hole in the fence or something with zip ties in place. It was very...
Yeah, that sounds sketchy to me.
It wasn't the sturdiest fence I've ever seen.
No, and considering turn 2 was the dodgiest place on track, yeah. You can see why Sebastian Bourdais was a bit reticent to restart the race. Leading up to the very bizarre pictures of everyone going, how come he's not getting in the car when everyone else is in it? So you just see Dale Coyne having to cart Seabass back to his car. But yeah, that was another interesting point that arose out of that. So I'd be remiss to not mention that James Hinchcliffe, Pietro Fittipaldi, and Takuma Sato were the ones involved in the crash behind the Wickens and RHR incident.
Mm-hmm.
Hinchcliffe sustaining some cuts to his hands in the ensuing debris cloud that happened from the crash, and that collected Pietro Fittipaldi, and Takuma Sato was actually don't know what he hit, but he hit something.
I think he spun on some oil or something that was coming out of Wickens' car.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what happened to him because he was a bit far behind it. So thankfully Fittipaldi was okay, especially considering he was just coming back from his injuries sustained at Spa.
Yeah, 3 months ago he just broke his legs at Spa, and then he's just in that crash as well.
Yeah, he's a very, very lucky boy.
Yeah.
They were all escaped without serious injuries, so that was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
However, upon the restart, we had, well, Alexander Rossi, who was the story of the day, really, who led 180 of the 200 laps on Sunday. In a sign or showing of dominance that is very few and far between, really. And he defeated Will Power, who was really his only challenger all day long. And that was thanks to Power losing ground on the last pit stops when he was stuck in traffic. So that denied Will Power the chance of being the first driver since Bobby Unser in 1981 to win 3 straight 500-mile races. So that put that bit of history to bed. And coming home third was Scott Dixon, who made lemonade out of lemons. So yeah, after starting 13th, finishing third, not a bad day.
Yeah, and nearly being collected in that Wickens crash.
Oh, well, being collected is about right, considering he was almost speared by the remnants of his chassis.
Yeah.
Very odd cameras, that. But he was third, 41 seconds behind the winning car of Alexander Rossi, and coming home fourth was Seabass, 42 seconds behind, and the last car on the lead lap. So, yeah. That was an utter show of domination by the Andretti guys, considering that Zach Beach was running well, and so was Marco Andretti. Well, and Ryan Hunter-Ray before the accident. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, the Andretti guys benefiting from Zach Beach having rookie testing the week before. So very good one, a run for the 26 of Zach Beach. Tony Kanaan retiring on lap 16 with throttle sensor failure. And of course, Spencer Pigot retiring from his opening lap crash. And Connor Daly was, well, in the back, floundering around and hit the wall with 38 laps to go. So that put him out. Or not out, but just running around. Actually, did he retire? Yeah, he did retire. So yeah, he was running around at the back before he hit the wall. So that means that Rossi's win has pretty much sealed the manufacturer's title for Honda in IndyCar. And that would be the first in 7 years that happens. First time in 7 years that someone other than Chevrolet has won the manufacturer title. Because due to the unique way that IndyCar has point scoring for their engine manufacturers, no one can pretty much earn any points other than Ed Carpenter Racing and Harding Racing, really. So, yeah. The title's pretty much sealed for Honda, which is good for them. But we had Scott Dixon finishing third, Sebastian Bourdais fourth, Joseph Newgarden trying to claw back points in fifth, Zach Beach was sixth, Marco Andretti seventh, Simone Pagenaud eighth, Charlie Kimball bringing home another top 10 for Carlin in ninth, and Ed Carpenter was 10th. And that was how that finished. But with Rossi now clawing back some points, he finishes 29 behind Dixon now with 3 races to go. So in the last 2 races, he's clawed back 41 points. So
not bad.
Not bad. And considering the Sonoma finale will be double points, we're going to have a title battle on our hands.
Yep. It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one. But don't bet against Scott Dixon. Alexander Rossi is going to make it close, but I still think Dixon might have it.
Yeah. I mean, when you consider that Dixon hasn't had a single pole position this year, but he's won 3 races. It's kind of going his way.
Very much in a Scott Dixon-esque season, yeah.
Yeah.
If he gets on a streak at the end of the season, well, everyone just better just look out and just give up, because, yeah. If Scott Dixon rolls into Mid-Ohio, as he does, and does well, which he did, well, you know, you're going to be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Just looking at it historically. So
Mid-Ohio? Haven't we had Mid-Ohio already?
Well, that's what I was saying. He did well at Mid-Ohio. So
at Mid-Ohio.
Typically, if Scott Dixon does well at Mid-Ohio, which he does, he carries that momentum through the rest of the season, is what I was saying.
I see. Sorry.
So, yeah. Look for him to make it difficult on Newgarden and Rossi from here on in. And, of course, this weekend they're at Gateway under the lights, which will be a good one. Well, we'll see. I don't know. This new package, no one really knows how it's going to work on ovals, because every oval they go to, it seems to be a bit different from the other ovals it goes to. Because even if this was the same package that they had in Indianapolis, they had a bit more downforce, and the racing wasn't similar to Indy at all. So, go figure. the similar oval that this package would be at Gateway would be Phoenix, but
Phoenix.
yeah, who knows really.
I mean, last year's Gateway race was fantastic.
And yeah, it was.
Newgarden, Pagano, basically
On the
killing each other's
outside.
turn. Oh god, great move.
That was the title-winning move in my book right there. Was Newgarden just getting it done when it needed to be done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully we'll see some good racing there again this weekend because it's been repaved to make it nice and smooth. So speed should be up and grip should be up. We will see what happens. And of course, after Gateway, we have the return to Portland and Sonoma. But getting all the positive news in first, because here comes a bit of serious news concerning the condition of Robert Wickens. The injuries he sustained coming into this week. On Monday, I'll actually preface it by different statements. Monday, last night, they had an update from the IndyCar series which said that Robert Wickens was moving into a repair phase of his engines. Which meant an MRI was being done to reveal which surgical course is appropriate for his injuries. This coming Monday at 5:57 p.m. Eastern Time. On Sunday, before that came out, we had learned that he had injuries to, quote-unquote, his lower extremities, right arm, and spine, which were pulmonary injuries, as they were classified as.
Yeah. He also had a pulmonary contusion, which is basically a bruise.
Yes.
So.
Which gives you a look into the severity of the impact of that crash.
Yeah.
And that was the update beforehand. And Monday, like I said, they were doing an MRI to see the best course of action for his injuries. Today, IndyCar has released a post-surgery update on Robert Wickens, in which they say that titanium rods and screws were placed successfully in Wickens' spine during the surgery, which was performed without complication, rather. The severity of the spinal cord injury is indeterminate at this time. Wickens is expected to undergo further surgeries to treat fractures in his lower extremities and right forearm. He remains in stable condition. Wickens' spinal injury is of the greatest concern, and according to IndyCar, that portion of the operation was to stabilize a thoracic spinal fracture. So, those of us who know what that means, maybe give us a bit of insight, but because I have no idea what that means. But it doesn't sound too good.
The thoracic region of your spine is sort of in the middle. So
it doesn't sound too good though.
It's not the best.
The positive bit of news to come out of that though is that the surgery was successful and without complications. So we wish him all the best and hope that it's not so serious that he can make a full recovery and be back to driving next season. Because it would be a bit of a shame if that were to end his career on that note.
What worries me is the rods and screws that were put in his spine. They could cause some serious issues.
Yeah, that doesn't sound a bit to be the best news. Which means there was some serious spinal damage. That they needed to use that, but touch and go, and we'll see what happens. Really, but yeah, like I said, we wish him all the best, and we'll see who gets to be driving the number 5 car this weekend, or if they fill the number 5.
I mean the number 6.
Sorry, the number 6 rather. Yeah, the number 5 is Hinchcliffe. My bad.
Yeah.
Wrong Canada car. But we'll see what happens, really. And wish them all the best. So that bit of news done. We can move on to some more happier news. Really, and that would be the upcoming GT race or IGTC race from Suzuka. That being the Suzuka 10 Hours.
Can we go on the roller coaster, please?
I see you have found the amusement park that's on the grounds of Suzuka there.
I mean, you can't miss it on Google Maps, let's be honest.
Right. But if you have the entry list open, I will give you the order in which I have ordered it to be more orderly, if that makes sense.
More orderly order?
Order.
Order, yes. Well, with Rob on the the podcast, we need all the order we can get, really.
Yeah,
what, so we're going to get Mike
sequence.
Lavinati on next?
Unbelievable. Just unbelievable.
Just no.
Yeah, just no, really. As someone randomly calls me, sorry about that, if you heard that in the background.
Yes, I was calling for, so can you do it later? Thanks.
Yes, thanks. I organized this for myself by manufacturers in the IGTC, so we'll start first with the Audi entries.
Oh, yes. Okay. The first Audi entry I have on my list is the number 6, Audi Sport Team Absolute Racing, with the driving lineup of Christopher Haase, Kelvin van der Linde, and Marcus Winkelhock.
Haase and Winkelhock being platinums, and van der Linde being gold.
Yes.
The
irony being,
interestingly enough, oh, sorry, go on.
as I was going to say, there was, I think Kelvin van der Linde put a photo up on social media recently of his dad and Marcus Winkelhock's dad as teammates for the Super Touring International Special race at Monza for BMW. And now here they are as factory Audi drivers.
That's nice.
I had no idea about that. That's quite nice.
Yeah, because the van der Lindes are a well-known and successful motorsport dynasty now in South Africa.
Yeah, the more you know. I had no idea.
Maybe, I think, possibly the South African equivalent of the Andretti's.
Okay, well, now I've learned something. Well done. Rob informing us of something for once. Wow.
Rob,
I know.
Information.
Rob having information and being useful. What kind of world do we live in now?
Actually, you know what that is?
Oh, of course.
Yes, me being useful, yeah.
Yes,
Glad
making it unprofessional again. Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you, just doing my job.
Moving back to the entry list here.
Yes, we have the
Pro class entered 06 Audi Sport Team WRT entry of Platinum driver Christopher Mies, Dries Van Thor, gold rated driver, and Frederick Vervisch, a gold driver.
Yes.
Which, not having similarly numbered cars is confusing at all.
No, not in the slightest. Yeah, there is also a second Pro Class Audi Sport Team WRT entry, the 17, which is for Jake Dennis, who's a gold-rated driver, and the silver-rated pairing of Stuart Leonard and Kelvin van der Linde's little brother Sheldon.
I was going to say, Kelvin's in 2 cars, and he's got 2 different ratings. That's amazing.
Absolute Racing are also running an Audi R8 in the Pro-Am category for the bronze-graded Sun Jingzhu and the silver-graded Kung Fu Cheng and Adeli Fong.
This entry not running for points for Audi, I don't think.
I don't think so. No. There is also the a team which is going to be quite familiar to those of us who follow Super GT. Audi team Hitotsuyama, with the silver-graded Alessio Picariello being added to the now familiar driver lineup of the also silver-graded Ryuichiro Tomita and Richard Lyons.
The gold-rated driver there.
Yes, it's the definitely the solid gold-rated driver.
Solid gold as opposed to solid platinum, yeah.
You are gold.
Oh, no. Of course he goes on. Of course.
So am I going to be our equivalent of Nick Damon from Radio Le Mans?
Apparently you're playing up your part of being the camp one, yeah. And Damien in the chat wishes for you to stop because he's just rude.
I offer my deepest, darkest apologies.
No, you don't. Let's be honest.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Don't lie. You don't. You don't care.
It's that time. Well, it's nearing the time of the evening where I actually do stop caring, but it's not. But we're not there yet. So,
moving past you not caring or caring, we have the two. We have the two Bentleys. The
Bentley boys.
The Bentley boys. The two Bentley Continental GT3s.
They're annoyingly numbered 07 and 08, so that's not going to confuse me at all.
Well, no, I mean, blame the D-Station Porsche for taking the 7.
And the ARN Ferrari for taking the 8.
Actually, that's even more annoying. It's not even the same manufacturer that stole the other numbers.
No.
God damn it. Oh, dear. Yep, it's the gold.
Well, hang on.
So,
since these are the Bentleys, I think it only proper that we allow Pigeon to read the entries here.
Oh yes, of course. Do go ahead, sir.
So in the number 07 Bentley Team M Sport Continental GT3, we have Stephen Kane, the only British driver driving for Bentley now.
I know, it's such a shame.
Reason. He's gold rated. We got Jordan Pepper from South Africa, who's silver, and then gold rated Jules Gounon from France.
Ah, yes, a Frenchman in a British car. It's very odd.
That does not make me angry.
Son of Jean-Marc Gounon, former F1 driver.
Thank you for that one.
And in the 08 Bentley, Andy Soucek, platinum rated driver from Spain. Maxime Soulet, gold-rated driver from Belgium, and Vincent Abril, gold-rated driver from Monaco.
Yes,
and there we go.
Where a Bentley makes you seem like a commoner,
Yes.
because they are all over the place, as I can confirm from when I visited there in 2010.
That's common as a VW Golf in Essex.
Yeah, they really are 10 a penny in Monaco, mate.
So you're saying the people car in Monaco is a Bentley Continental? I see.
Yeah.
Or a Smart 42.
No, that's literally a people car. Come on.
Well, it's a person car. Because they're bloody tiny.
Both of those entries being in the pro class. I should mention that.
Of course, and
unfortunately, there's nowhere. They were confused, Pigeon.
Yes, and unfortunately, there's nowhere for one's champagne flute and bottle of Tattinger.
No, that comes after the race.
Damn blast! Not very in keeping with the spirit of the Bentley boys, is it, old chap?
Anyway,
this is the 1930s we're talking about.
Since Rob is on a bit of a
tangent,
a bit of a British tangent, he can read the McLaren.
The McLaren, which is
the sole McLaren.
Garage 59 entry in the Pro class.
Numbered
number 58 for some.
Yeah, I know. The Garage 59, number 58. Yeah.
So annoying.
Yes, some of the car numbering here is utterly inexplicable. Silver graded British driver Andrew Watson is joined by the platinum graded British driver Ben Barnacote, and joining them will be the platinum graded Frenchman Combe Lejar.
It will never fail to amuse me that Andrew Watson is in the car, because one of my lecturers from uni was called Andrew Watson, and I always think of him. It's just.
How do you know it's not the same Andrew Watson?
Well, I highly doubt it because he's about 54 now. So
maybe he's found the fountain of youth. You don't know.
Also, he's a terrible driver. So.
Oh well, there you go. That's the crux of it. Then you sealed the deal there.
Well, he wouldn't. So you're saying he would not have been classed as a bronze driver?
A drider? What is a drider?
Drider, the Drider Civic from Gran Turismo 4. For those of us with long enough memories.
I see.
Oh, yes, managed to get that one in there.
Yes. And since this is moving so swimmingly, we go to the Mercedes AMG GT3s, of which there are
many.
50 million.
There is an entire armada of Mercedes AMG GT3s.
The most of all entered in the race.
And the one which most people are going to be paying attention to is the 00 Pro Class entry.
Not a number.
I know. From Mercedes AMG Team Good Smile. You may remember it as the Hatsune Miku car from Super GT. Driving that will be the gold-rated Nobuteru Taniguchi, i.e. Nob, because there really is no one better. The gold-graded Tatsuya Kataoka.
Still not what Nob means to me, but okay.
Who's also a gold-rated driver.
And no, I think of Nob as the traditional sense of being, like, terrible, but okay.
Okay.
Exactly.
Nob has different connotations here in the UK, I think.
Yeah, well, I was being diplomatic, so...
Yes. And the platinum-graded Kamui Kobayashi, fresh from his disqualification in the Silverstone 6 hours.
Wow, you just can't let that go, can you?
The scenes if they get disqualified here as well.
What, you're not suggesting Mercedes are going to be resorting to some dodgy engine mapping like they did at Spa a couple of years ago?
Oh, no, totally not.
Well, because it's not like that's ever happened, has it?
No, that goes cyclically. It was Audi's turn to cheat. Now it's probably going to be Lamborghini, you see?
Oh, no, Lamborghini done that.
First it was Lamborghini, then it was Audi, then it was Mercedes, and then it went back to Audi.
Do you think it should be Porsche's turn to cheat with their Volkswagen Beetles? Sorry, Porsche 911s.
How dare you even suggest the Porsches would cheat, honestly?
I mean, yeah.
How dare you, sir? How dare you suggest Porsche's cheating? That's more in line with Ford and making illegal cars. Come on.
What a car you have to get homologated by buying it in bits of plastic called Lego.
See? Exactly. Now you're good.
Right, back to this. Straka Racing have a plethora of cars. They have 3. The 42 Straka Racing entries in the Pro-Am class for the bronze-graded Nick Leventis.
Very
and
good.
the silver-graded pairing of David Fuminelli and Felipe Fraga.
Never heard of him.
Felipe Fraga races in Brazil stock, I think.
Explains why I've never heard of him.
The 44 Straka Racing entry is also a pro class.
Hang on. You're skipping numbers.
No, there's a reason why I'm skipping the 43, and that shall be explained. Yes. The 44 Straka Racing entry is in the pro class and driven by the all platinum graded lineup of Adrian Tombe, Ollie Rowland, and Maxi Burke. And finally, there's the Mercedes AMG team Straka Racing entry, the number 43, for the gold-rated Lewis Williamson, alongside the platinum-graded duo of Maxi Goertz and Alvaro Parent.
Not a busy boy, him.
No, not at all.
And of course, we have the straggler of the Mercedes, and that's the AM entered 112 car of Sato Yamashita SSRN Sports, which is a rather word salad name, but there you are. for the all-bronze trio of Atsushi Sato, Ryusei Yamashita, and Norio Kubo. And the 175 Pro-Am entered Sun Energy 1 racing car for the bronze-rated Kenny Hobble and the pairing of Lucas Stoltz and Michael Grenier.
Yes, and finally, there's the Mercedes AMG Team Group M Racing, car number
Longest
888.
name ever.
Yes, car number 888 in the Pro class, with the all-platinum graded trio of Mauro Engel, Raffaele Marciello, and Tristan Vautier.
Not a bad lineup.
Marciello, yeah.
Yes.
That one also being a Gundam liveried Mercedes. I should point out. So
Yes.
two of the factory Mercedes cars being very much Japanese this weekend. In the form of the Hatsune Miku car and the Gundam car. There is, however, a pair of more anime livery cars later on.
God. Oh, God.
And now we get to the final IGTC manufacturer, and that would be the aforementioned Porsches that you like so much.
Oh, I do. I do like a good Porsche. Especially
Yes.
the loud ones at Silverstone.
No, those are GTE cars. Come now.
Yes, but it doesn't take away from the fact they were fantastically loud.
Yeah. Surprised you can hear anything, really.
Yes.
Good thing you were wearing earplugs.
What, for
double
2
layer,
hours
I
on
assume.
Saturday?
Well, and what do you mean 2 hours on Saturday? Did you not bother watching all 4 hours?
No, I only put them in partway through the race.
Oh, of course, because you're the
course you
smartest
did.
person who ever lived. Yeah.
I didn't bother doing it for the 6-hour race on Sunday. Yeah, there's
Well, I
the...
mean, he had some common sense, I guess.
Yes. There's the number 7 Porsche, not the 07, the 7 Pro Class entry from Super GT Regulars D-Station Racing for the gold-rated pairing of Sven Mueller and Tomonobu Fuji, their regular Super GT drivers, and joining them is some bloke who no one's ever heard of called Earl Bamber, who's a platinum.
Just ruins
then
a nice gold they had going on there.
Yeah. And also in a Porsche, we have the Pro-Am entry from Black Swan Racing.
Hey!
Yay! For the bronze-graded pairing of Tim Pappas
Hey!
and Mark Miller.
Hey!
And the platinum-graded Dutchman, Jeroen Bleekmolen.
Hooray!
And no doubt with Bleekmolen in the car, that's going to be somewhere near the sharp end of the timing sheet.
Hooray! Okay, I'm done.
Yes. There is also a Pro-Am class entry from D-Station Racing for Satoshi Hoshino, who's bronze graded, and the silver graded
the
pairing.
team director, I believe, from Team Motor.
Yes, the 77. It's also got silver graded drivers Tsubasa Kondo and Jono Lester.
Jono Lester, I think you'll find.
I thought it was Jono.
Whatever. Jono. Isn't it Jono?
I don't know. Finally, there are a couple of more pro class entries. The number 911
Just
for
the factory cars, yeah.
Manti Racing of the all platinum graded lineup of Dirk Werner, Fred Makovici, and Roman Dumas. And finally, there's the Craft Bamboo Racing number 991 pro class entry for the platinum graded duo of Lawrence Vantor and Kevin Estra, and the gold rated Matthew Jaminet.
How he's a gold still is beyond me. That's a bit of an oversight.
Yeah.
He's a Porsche Young driver. He should at least be a platinum by now.
Actually,
in the same vein that Sven Muller should be as well.
And Matteo Cairoli while we're at it, I think, as well.
Well, he's going to win the titles this season, so that'll be swiftly dealt with.
And probably Matt Campbell as well.
Is he gold or is he silver? I thought it was silver.
Matty Campbell's now a gold-rated driver, I think, because he's in GTM and they've already got a silver in Andlauer and a bronze in Reed.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough.
And Cairoli drives for the EB Motors squad, and they've already got a silver and a bronze in the Roda duo.
Yes, that's true. Thank you for that rundown of driver grading silver medals and bronze medals, because I don't know my precious metal drivers, apparently.
And there is no driver grading low enough for me, unfortunately.
No, I think you would be the wood driver.
Can we go lower than wood? Like, I don't know, soil?
No, soil's quite light.
Yeah.
Unless you pack it.
That's a good point, actually, yeah.
No, I'm bringing you back on track now before we lose track again. No. Now we move to the non-IGTC entrance, so once again alphabetically ordered. So, Pigeon, you can read the sole BMW in the race.
If I find it.
It's near the bottom, it's car number 91.
91?
What?
It's 96.
No, it's 91.
No, it's 91 on my entry list, yes.
Oh boy, I typed that wrong on my list. Oops. Hang on, I'm the stupid one. Go on.
You were probably thinking of Turner when you wrote it.
Yeah, when I was writing it, I was looking at the Turner BMW is what I was doing, yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't want to look at the Turner BMW, in fairness? Let's be honest.
Dearie me. Go on, yeah.
Anyway, yes. So, 91 BMW prime entry, as Rob said, for Singer Team AAI. In the BMW M6 GT3, driven by Tom Blomqvist, obviously platinum driver, joined by the bronze duo of Akira Ida and Piti Birombakdi.
Oh dear.
Thailand.
Akira Ida's a bronze-graded driver.
Akira Aida, yeah, is a Super GT bronze-rated driver. And of course, the aforementioned Piti Birombakdi, yeah, or Birombakdi, whichever one you prefer, who is, of course, the heir to the Singha Brewery fortune, which is why the team is sponsored by the beer.
Yes, I was going to say, I was very disappointed that they didn't bother opting for our good friend Natarude Chow and Sukwatana.
It was only a matter of time before he tried to squeeze that one in.
Yes!
Yeah.
Here you go. Akira Ida, I was going to say, he's been... There you go. He's competed in Super GT since 1994, apparently. Wow.
Blimey.
Well, there you go. He's older than you think he is.
Yes, he was one of the presenters on Best Motoring, which is where I think I've heard of him from, actually.
Well, that makes one of us then.
Yeah, he won the 2002 All Japan Grand Touring Car Championship in the Esso Supra alongside certain Mr. Juichi Wakisaka.
Of course.
He's going to. That's why I'm surprised he's a bronze graded driver, because he's only late 40s.
Only late 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, moving past your confusion at the driver gradings. We'll see that Team AAI BMW probably in a lovely blue and yellow chrome flame livery come Sunday, or Saturday, whichever date line you fall under. For me, it's Saturday. For you, it's Sunday into Monday, I think.
Yeah.
And now we get to one of the interesting entries of the race, and that is the sole factory entered Callaway Corvette C7 GT3R. This being a Pro-Am entry in the number 37 Callaway competition with Bingo Racing. For Shinichi Takai, Yuta Kamimura, and Yuichi Mikasa. Shinichi Takai being bronze and the other two being silver-rated drivers. And we have 3 Ferraris in this race, of course. However, interestingly, not going for the IGTC title, which I thought they were doing.
That is a bit peculiar. The first of the Ferraris, rather confusingly, is the number 8 Pro-Am entry from ARN Racing. For the bronze-graded Hiroaki Nagai, the silver-graded Koki Saga, and the, well, obviously platinum-graded Kohei Hirate.
Yes, and we come into the
Hub Auto Corsa pairing, I believe it is.
yes, the Pro entered the number 27 for platinum-rated drivers, Davide Rigon.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said they were all platinum. Never
No.
mind.
As I was saying, the platinum-rated drivers of Davide Rigon, Miguel Molina, and the gold pairing, or the gold driver of Matt Griffin.
He should not be a gold. Come on.
Well, I mean, he was a silver not too long ago, so yeah, he'll be a platinum in no
being
time.
a silver.
I said he was. He got made into a gold. Yeah.
Wow.
And going past Rob's confusion there, we have the Pro-Am number 28 for Hub Auto Corsa, and that being the silver drivers of Nick Foster and David Perel, and the bronze-rated Hiroki Yoshida.
I'll tell you what, Perel, he is seriously quick, that guy is.
You have to refresh my memory. Who is he again?
South African driver who usually ends up doing quite well in Ferraris in Blancpain Endurance Series.
Ah, I see.
Yes, he is a properly fast driver. And I think he's also a genuine AM driver as well.
For whatever reason, Dylan, sorry, I'm answering the chat here. They have decided to add zeros before some numbers for whatever reason. So very much in the style of the old American Le Mans Series number scheme, where you could have the 017 and the 018, or the 0055 if you were level 5. But yeah, so I don't know. They just decided to make more numbers than possible, I guess. Oh yeah, the 000 was a thing as well.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that wasn't the best. That was also the very horrible time of Sebring 2012. So
Oh God, no, God, no!
You're gonna trigger
Bloody
Rob
hell!
Too late. Payback for you mentioning it the other week.
Oh, fucking hell!
I got my revenge.
Did we have to mention Sebring 2012 and the 9 class mess?
Meanwhile, while he goes off and cries in a corner, we will get to the 3 Honda NSXs in this race.
Oh, yes. The first of the Pro Class cars is the number 10 Honda Team Motul entry for...
I think you'll find that's Motul, but okay.
Motul, never mind. For the gold-rated Daisuke Nakajima, he's Kazuki Nakajima's brother, and the platinum-graded...
Thank you for that one, I wasn't sure.
And the platinum-graded duo of Hideki Muto and Naoki Yamamoto. There are also there is the Modulo Drago Corsa in the Pro Class as well for the gold-rated pairing of Ryo Michigami and Hiroki Otsu. Or is it Otsu?
I
think it's Otsu.
Otsu, yeah. Otsu. O-T-S-U, Otsu.
Cheers. Otsu.
Yeah.
Cheers. And the platinum-graded Takashi Kuguri. And finally, we come to the Pro-Am number 777 of Car Guy Racing for Takeshi Kimura, who's bronze-graded, and the silver-graded pairing of Naoki Yokomitsu and Kei Kotzolino.
Yes, who are the normal pairing in Super GT, I believe. If it comes to mind correctly, sounds about right. So I'm going to go with that.
Yeah.
And now we come to the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 pairing from J-Lock.
Oh, but do we need to check to make sure they've got the correct restrictors in?
Oh, well, yes, very well done.
Yes. Yes.
Beautifully presented there.
Thank you. I mean, for a start, Grasser aren't running them, so that's going to disappoint our toucan overlord from Austria.
Well, they were never committed to the IGTC, so yeah.
Sadly. No, they're run by.
Had sense they would, but
yes,
yeah.
they're run by the Japanese Lamborghini Owners Club. We can all remember what happened the last time they ran at Le Mans.
No. These are proper Lamborghinis.
Oh,
these aren't makeshift Murcielagos, by the way.
Ah, right.
Okay.
I see. Okay. Yes, that is the difference.
The difference is they don't have to build this Lamborghini. They just have to sort of make sure everything works. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a Pro-Am entry, car number 87, for the gold-rated Kimya Sato, the silver-rated Yuya Motojima, and the bronze-graded Taiyo Aida. And their Pro-Class entry has the silver-graded Kazuki Hironami, the gold-rated Marco Mappelli, and the also gold-rated Andrea Caldarelli, who's, again, quite familiar to those of us who've watched an awful lot of Super GT before, from his exploits behind the wheel of a Lexus.
Okay.
Yeah, because he used to drive I think it was the...
Who is this again?
Caldarelli.
Caldarelli is a factory Lamborghini driver, sir.
He is now, but a couple of years ago he was driving for Lexus in GT500.
Oh, yes. No, isn't he? No, yeah, you're right. What year was that? 2015 or 2016?
I think 2016 was his last year as a factory Lexus driver. It was in the Keeper Tom's car. He'd done 6 seasons actually in Super GT. Started off in the for Team Craft in 2012, and then went to Team Tom's 2013 and 14, and then was in the Keeper Tom's car in 2015, and then the Wacos car in 2016, 2017.
Correct here. And we have 2 more to go, and actually with these 2 entries left, I'm going to introduce a guest that was supposed to be on earlier. So let me just do this. Let's see here. Come on. Discord does not want to work for me. What a surprise.
And
there. Now you can talk, perhaps.
Hello, I can talk, yes.
No, not you. Anyway. Ridiculous. The person I'm trying to get to join the thing, however, they don't know how to use the Discord correctly, is Mikhail, because he was supposed to show up on time because he wanted to join the preview. But however, he doesn't understand how to use switching things. Jesus Christ.
Oh dear.
So there we go. Now we'll keep talking as he gets his situation sorted. We have the 2 mother chassis cars, of which there are only 2, surprisingly.
Wait, you're talking about the 86, right? The 86 and the Lotus?
There's Mikhail. Wonderful.
Yes.
Welcome to the party. We're a bit late.
You know, I do want to apologize because I did actually write notes on when I'm at work.
Well, you've written considerably more notes than I have.
Yes, actually, I was like basically separating the manufacturers to the manufacturer.
Yes, like I told you to do. Yes.
Yes, I actually did. In fact, I'll probably show you a picture, Forza,
Well, I mean, it's pointless at this bit, but yeah, we can see your notes at the end. But
Actually,
since you've joined us,
hold on, Forza, sorry, have we done Nissan?
Oh, I actually have done Nissan, in fact.
wait, have I missed Nissan?
Yes, you have
Yes,
missed
you have.
Nissan. The KCMG cars, mate.
Yeah, there are two of
Oops.
them.
Well, I guess you can mention the Nissan, so my apologies. Wow.
Yes.
Well, in fact, there's actually 3 Nissans.
Of
Ganner's
course, I
also-
missed the 3 Nissans. Yes, okay.
Oh, yes,
well, I guess Mikhail can pitch in with the 3 Nissans.
Ganner will be bringing their number 11 Nissan for the Pro category, and KCMG will be bringing 2 of their Nissans as well for Pro. I didn't put in the didn't put in the drivers, but I think it'll get the. You have the driver's list, right?
The Gainer
yes.
Nissan is the gold pairing, or the all gold lineup of Katsuyuki Hiranaka, Kazuki Hoshino, and Hironobu Yasuda for the number 11. Where is the second Nissan?
The KCMG cars are
018.
018.
Oh, of course, yes.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, no wonder I missed them, because it was a stupid number was off. Oh, fuck's sake.
I mean, so do you know that some of the cars have like one extra number in?
Yeah, I know, that's
Zero.
exactly what threw me,
Yeah.
because I put the Up Garage one instead of the KCMG car. That's what I did.
I mean, you forgot to mention the 888, the 7175, the
Oh,
122.
no. We mentioned all of the other ones, but the last ones we have to mention are the Nissans and the Lotus and the Toyota.
Well, at least you didn't forget all of them. At least while I'm not here, that's good.
Well, I mean, yeah. So we have, which one was I doing again? The 018, which is a dumb number. The KCMG code entered car for Suzuka Matsuda, Alexandre Imperatore, and Katsumasa Chiyo. Imperatore and Chiyo being gold drivers, and of course Suzuka Matsuda being platinum. The 23 KCMG car is also pro, and that is the silver-rated driver of Eduardo Liberazzi, the gold driver of Richard Bradley, and of course the platinum surprise entry there of Oliver Jarvis.
Well, it's not like Mazda build a GT3 car.
Well, I mean, he's also a different factory driver compared to Mazda, but yeah, go on.
Yes.
I mean,
So now yes.
if I want to say something. Nissan did have their first race in the series, the Intercontinental GT Challenge in like Spa, right? And he finished like 7th. I think they have a pretty good finish.
Well, they weren't at Bathurst; they were at Spa. 7th with the new car, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe there's some potential for maybe Suzuka as well.
We will have to see, really. Of course, the only reason why I want to even mention the Lotus is because it has Kazuo in it. So, yeah. That being the Pro-Am entered number 2 for Cars Tokai Dream 28. Because that makes sense as a team entrant. We have the bronze-rated Kazuo Takahashi, the silver-rated Hiroki Katsu, and the bronze-rated Hiroshi Hamaguchi. And, of course, the Super GT car of the number 18, which isn't the KCMG Nissan. The Pro entered Team Up Garage Toyota 86 MC of Yuki Nakayama, Takashi Kobayashi, both of them being gold, and the silver-rated Takuto Iguchi. So, yeah.
That is just amazing seeing the Marchakis finally racing not other Super GT, GT3s, but also the Wangpan, outside of their own comfort zone at least. Well, depending, because they're all also racing their own track. But you get the point. This is basically probably the first time people would probably know what Motor Chassis is. I feel.
Well, most people have seen Super GT, so probably not.
Yeah. But you get the point, though.
Yeah, I see your point. Anything you had to add on your notes? Because you joined just as about we were to wrap up.
Well, I could say, have you told them the points?
Bless you.
Thank you.
Well done, Rob.
Thank you.
But have you told them the points for the championship for the whole intercontinental challenge thing?
We have not done the manufacturer's points. So if you have those, you can.
Yes, I have. So Audi before Suzuka will be entering the race with 68 points, 7 ahead of Mercedes, followed by Porsche with 37 points, 31 points back. Huge gap between the two manufacturers, followed by McLaren, despite having one car, I think, we're going to bring to Suzuka with 20 points, 48 points back. And finally, Bentley with 54 points back, which is there's no chance by this point. So
Sad Bentley boys.
Yeah, sad Bentley boys, yeah.
Spa was their undoing, really.
Yeah.
I mean, right now,
And
I
also,
think
what happened at Bathurst wasn't their fault anyway.
Well, that's true. I'd forgotten about Bathurst, yeah.
Also, I noticed that by counting each, those who are from Mercedes or Audi or Porsche, apparently, majority, if you could combine Audi and Mercedes entries, it's half of the whole grid that has they're a part of the championship. Porsche, McLaren, and Bentley are the same number combined together. That's how big this grid's gonna be for both Audi and Mercedes.
Seems about most GT3 challenges or championships, rather.
Meanwhile,
Mercedes and Audis.
Meanwhile, looking at the non-manufacturer teams, there are more Ferraris, more Hondas, more Nissans, and more probably more Lamborghinis than any other manufacturers. Only Lotus, the Toyota, the Callaway, and BMW are have brought their only one car at least. So yeah. I'm just looking forward for a race. I mean, you can this is actually a big deal. No wonder why I was actually trying to wake up as much as I can. It's just diverse racing, in my opinion. So many good cars to pick with different manufacturers. I think it's gonna be a great one. 10 hours at one of the toughest tracks in the world.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Japanese teams do and home soil and how they represent their various manufacturers. But yet to be determined if Nisma TV will have a stream. If not, then it'll be on Eurosport in Europe, and in North America it'll be on MotorChannel On Demand. I think GT World will have a YouTube stream, so look for it on there. And of course, there's the IndyCar race from Gateway, as I had mentioned before. What else was this weekend? Oh, the F1 Grand Prix from Spa, of course, that's always mentioning. The Johnny Walker Belgian Grand Prix, as it's written down. Also, NASCAR from Canadian Tire Motorsport Park and Road America as well. So, yeah. And that's all I have written down. So, it's going to be a busy weekend.
Yes, there's also British touring cars from Knockhill Park in Scotland, and the British Round of the Motorcycle World Championship is happening this weekend as well at Silverstone.
Ooh.
So in fact, they were actually starting to set up during the WEC weekend. The first trucks were arriving.
Well, on that bit of scheduling news, we will let Kazoo will get on his way here because he's got something to do. So,
Yes, eating. I think.
yes, eating.
Mahlzeit.
He's a hungry
I mean,
boy.
to be honest, I hadn't even eaten breakfast to begin with.
Yes, well.
I had enough time for a nice dinner.
Anyway, besides food discussion, yes, this we've taken up enough of your time.
This
So
is now a cooking podcast.
thanks
Yes.
for listening, guys.
Bye. Dankeschön.
Bye.
Bye. Yes, I got